Welcome to LegacyCast, your source for hearing from top influencers, industry experts, and successful business owners who are telling their unique story about life, values, goals, business strategies, and the various causes they are so passionate about. Future generations will come to be impacted by what is happening today, whether positive or negative, and our mission is to focus on what is going to affect change for the better. Hosted each weekday by James Snow, a former U.S. Army combat medic, now founder and principal advisor of James Advisors Group, a full-service financial planning firm in North Texas. This is LegacyCast. Welcome, LegacyCast listeners. This is your host, James Snow, coming to you from the North Texas LegacyCast bunker up here. And we're enjoying this heat up here in North Texas. And so just to kind of feel a little bit cooler, I wanted to speak with a good friend of mine up in the northwestern part of the U.S., out in Oregon, Eric Mitchell. A lot of you people that are in the veteran circle, you'll know Eric from his LifeFlip Media. And it just, it's a pleasure and honor to have Eric up in here and be able to pick his brain a little bit about what his idea of legacy is, and then find out what's going on in his world, because the things that we're doing today are going to resonate through the generations. And so it's not just a financial conversation, as I always say. It's more about you telling your story your way, so that the generations that are going to come behind us get to know really who you are and what you care about, what you're passionate about, the things that you're involved in. And so, that's kind of the stuff that we talk about here. And, without any further delay, I'd like to welcome Eric into the program. Thanks for being here, Eric.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure. And I always look at the weather map during the summers living up here in the Pacific Northwest and go, wow, I'm glad I'm not in Texas. I just avoid the Texas area until like October, I've learned. My last visit was the beginning of June, and I will not return until
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I think today it's somewhere between 100 and 130. It's a bit like being over in the sandbox, so it's pretty brutal.
It's 80. It's 83 outside my window right now, and
oh man,
tomorrow it's going to be in the 60s. We have some rain maybe sneaking in here later in the week, so I'm a happy boy.
You suck. I think I'll come and visit.
Yeah, more than welcome. More than better. We have good beer here. So. Lots of beer.
Hey. All right, we're going to have to get back on track here now.
Oh, yes.
So, obviously, as the name of the program implies, we do talk about legacies. And as I was mentioning, it's not really a financial conversation as such. A lot of people think, that just because, I'm a financial planner, that's the only kind of legacy. But, oftentimes, it's going to be a societal legacy, what you're doing in your community, or, it's educational, what are you teaching your children, or for those that are educators, their legacy is definitely educational. So when you're thinking about legacy, just the concept of it, Eric, what comes to mind for you?
My kids automatically off the top of my bat, off the top of my head, not the top of my bat. It's important to leave that legacy, and I want to teach my kids, because my dad growing up, he worked for a big Fortune 500 company, and my kids growing up are watching their dad transition from working from a very large company, a couple large companies, to now owning my own business that I'd like to say were semi-successful, and teaching them all the hard work that goes into doing it. And I think they see that this wasn't. I mean, I like the legacy that I'm able to teach my kids, because they see the hard work that goes into it. They see dad working early in the morning, working late, but I still make sure that I work hard, play hard, because I've taught them that real early. And I'm a firm believer in it. So I think that's an important legacy to leave behind. And also, I guess the second tier to that would be making sure also passing that down to, our brothers and sisters, in the veteran world. Because coming out years ago when I did, it was one of the things. I was like alone in, Northern California, working in the Silicon Valley. The veteran movement really hasn't caught on. And now I can pass what I learned down to so many people. And that's what I really want to get across to everybody, is that, we have a legacy to look out for one another. and it goes down from generation to generation. It still drives me nuts, and this is going to sound like a salty old guy, but it drives me nuts that we have pre and post 9/11, like that whole designator, like somebody's better than the other. And I don't think anybody believes that each other. And I think that's a large mentality of a very big sector of the veteran community, and the mill spouse community looks out for one another. I think it's our job as we all get older to kind of lead the way, because we are seriously the last 10 years, I would say, this is the generation, this group of folks that's leading it now are the ones that are taking us, that can leave it for the guys who are getting out, guys and gals that are getting out in the next few years.
Yeah, and that's totally accurate, because you're mentioning the different groups within the veteran community. Yeah, we're all veterans. So yes, people were in one theater or another, but ultimately, as far as I'm concerned, we're all one and the same. We're cut from the same cloth. We all bleed the same color of green, and so it's there really should not be any further division put in there, or any other prejudices, because we're all from the same. And likewise, even for the people that are not not military, the civilians, we have patriots out there that they I still see eye to eye with them, and they understand to some degree what we went through, not to the same full degree, but they certainly have the respect for what we do, and I appreciate that. But again, it's all those divisions that we need to get rid of.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've always had them. I just think social media really brings them to the surface, right? Everybody has their opinion. I mean, and you really saw it in the last, I don't know, week, almost a week now, since Senator John McCain passed away. The division there, right? I mean, I think the veteran community actually became tighter around the subject, because we were the ones that are like, that he's a vet no matter what you say. He was a POW for 5 years, and we'll give him that respect. His politics, it's like I told people, I don't care if you liked him or didn't like him. You respect the man. He did 5 years as a POW in Vietnam. And again, it was funny to see it's ironic, right? We talk about looking out for our vets, but here's another Vietnam vet that it's kind of like, it's okay to like bash on the Vietnam vet still. It still happens. So it was kind of ironic, and it was good to see the veteran community really stand up together. It was good to see AMVETs, come out and be like, hey, we need to take care of this is one of our own. Just not lose faith. You may have not liked him as a politician. We're not looking at him as a politician. I think veterans at the end of the day, we look at our achievements as vets, as our current service. Like, what did you do there? I mean, are you going to go tell Dakota Myers he sucks? Hell no. The man's a Medal of Honor recipient. I mean, you may not agree with his politics, but you sure as hell got to respect who he is. It goes for any one of the Medal of Honor recipients, folks with Purple Hearts. At the end of the day, I say you got to respect those guys. I don't care what their politics are. And I think that's the only way we leave a legacy, is to remember our civilian friends, that, hey, if you love our country, obviously loving our military is next. They're your single line of defense that you have, so you better like your military. Because if not, if you think about it, like my grandfather used to say before he passed away a few years ago, if you didn't like your military, you'd be goose stepping right now. So let's remember, think about legacy in that terms, right? World War I, World War II.
Sure.
We're all down the line of that, but we've never had a world war. None of us have ever had to do that. We've fought a bunch of people who, they're easy to take out with drones. Could you imagine fighting the Germans these days? That would look pretty scary to me. Or the Japanese. I'm a Marine. We always got to remember our friends over in the Western theater. I know you Army guys, you'd like to remind us about D-Day and, taking Europe. But, anyways, I definitely think legacy is important. I mean, I love your show because it's based on that, right? Legacy is so many different things that I think people seem to miss what legacy means and how we have a job. It's not today that we're really worried about.
Right.
I mean, we need to worry about the future. I mean, for me, it's different. I have a teenager and an almost teenager, a boy and a girl. So it's a whole different world out there. I mean, the things they're exposed to, I'm a paranoid dad. My kid walks less than a mile to school, but I'm paranoid for that whole walk because I know how crazy the world is.
Right.
You see it. So I want to teach them to be alert, And yeah, you live in a safe environment, but you always got to have your head on a swivel. So I think legacy is important that we pass those down to our kids and to the world and teach people. And I think bringing any attention to what the veteran community, which I think LifeFlip had built LifeFlip around, was showing the veteran and milspouse world to the rest of the mainstream world is very important. So people can learn that there's some amazing veteran brands that are out there that are veteran owned. I mean, a lot of people have no idea, like GoDaddy is veteran was created by a Vietnam veteran, Marine Corps grunt that served in Vietnam. Same thing with FedEx, another Marine. Amazing companies that you use every day, but nobody's like, oh, they're vets. They are. They were created by vets. So I think it's important to bring those up because we have a pretty good reputation. Even Marines, we're good at, besides eating crabs.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you pointed that out because there are so many different companies that now to coin the term legacy. I mean, they're legacy companies now because they're not going away anytime soon, and so they're postured for at least another generation, if not beyond that. And that kind of leads me to the next direction that I was going to go with you, Eric, is when we're putting together these strategies and these ideas for ourselves, either on a personal level or business level. Would you say yes or no that it's an important consideration that people really expend a lot of energy on what that legacy is going to look like even before they execute it?
I would say yes. I think it's important that you not just look right in front of you. I know a lot of us are taught that in our military days is you can't just look right ahead. You got to think about, for every action, there's a reaction and a consequence.
Right.
So I think as you're building a legacy, that's why when you're building a business plan, yeah, it's a pain in the butt to write one out, but you should have one. And it's a blueprint, but you can change it, right? That's why they create erasers or the delete button on your computer. So you could call audibles. I mean, if I was laughing, I save each version of the business plan that I've created for LifeFlip Media, and I laughed. I went back and looked at it the other day just because we're pivoting and doing a cool little couple new projects. And I was laughing. They were on like version 1, but they didn't make the cut to like version 2, 3, or 4. But now, we're on version I think 7. And I go look at it and I laugh. So I'm like, it's funny how I bring them back around because I see the idea. They look like concepts. So you should think about your legacy. And, people always, coming from the startup world, I always believe that what's your 5-year plan, right? And always ask yourself, what's your out? For me, do I want to sell LifeFlip down the road? Where do I want to be in 5 years? I think that's always a plan that you have to see yourself. You want to think successful to be successful.
Yeah. That's totally spot on, Eric, because, I hear so often that there's business owners that they're so excited to get into business and motivated and pumped up and just energized to jump into it, and they jump past that whole planning stage, and they just open the doors wide open. They jump into business, and then maybe 1, 2, 3 years out, they hit that really big hurdle, and are not able to grow and not able to expand, and are wondering why, or even running into some really detrimental things that come up. Excuse me. And so often that's because they didn't have that business plan that you're talking about, and then just reviewing it. You were mentioning on version 7, that's certainly what people should do is constantly look at that thing, because it should be growing with you. And it's not a static object. It's something that should it should be molded and shaped the way that you need it to be. And to be able to be flexible. It's got to be flexible. So from a CEO standpoint, since you do have different business ventures going on your end, from a CEO standpoint, are there a few things that maybe keep you up at night still about your businesses, or are you pretty cool with it?
I don't think you ever rest easy, period, as a CEO. You could be happy about progress, but I think you're always trying to be the ever perfectionist and make tweaks as you go. And I've learned that from some great mentors that I've been able to have in my career as I've come up, and I still have them. And I think one of the things, you're always challenging yourself to be better. So you do keep yourself up at night, challenging yourself. How can we be better? How do we improve? Where can we make a difference and actually make more impact? So those are the things that keep me up